What you've been sharing with me is really catching my attention. I know you've been together about 20 years, and for many, many of those years, what you've been sharing are strengths that I often don't see with couples who come into therapy. And that is, you were both saying, in times of trouble or when we hit kind of a rocky patch, we could turn to each other. And what you're sharing here is that's been really hard for quite a while. And I know there was an event that seemed to kick things into overdrive. And Kelly, I believe that's when your mom passed. So, can you help me understand a bit about something has shifted there from being able to more reliably turn to Jeff? And then in this really important moment, my guess is where you probably could have used so much support and the safe haven of this relationship. Instead, after 17 years, what I think I was hearing you say is you picked up a beer and things have been like insanely difficult since then.
Yeah. Well, it's been awful, obviously, but it's like we were doing so good. I was doing so good. I was sober. And then to have that relapse after 17 years was devastating for me. I think, Jeff, you remember we were like starting to, I don't know if it was like with my mom about to die or what was happening, but like there was something you just weren't really present like you normally are. And I was already starting to feel kind of like alone or sort of like I couldn't really find you like I used to be able to. And so, not to excuse it, but like, the relapse, and then obviously it's a betrayal for myself. I'm so proud of of my sobriety.
Oh,
And but now yeah, my mom, the loss of her is enormous. And
uh,
so there's like so many, can you hear all the layers to this? It's like, I can't
geez.
even keep up with how many losses. It's like, I don't have Jeff anymore. I don't have my sobriety anymore. My mom died. Like, I really just, I don't, it feels like it's so overwhelming. Like almost like I can't handle it.
That's a lot you just said. There are a lot of layers. And what I'm hearing you say is there's this key moment, and part of it has to do with you look across, and instead of the connection that you had really cherished, that had been, I think, much more stable and reliable. I'm hearing
Yeah.
you say you all were in a rocky place, and you look across, and an awful thought kind of grabs you, is Jeff really going to be here with me? Am I going to be able to feel him in this with me?
Right.
And at that moment, there wasn't a confirmation of a yes. And then your mom, who you're so close to, dies, along with so many other people in your life who have passed away. And what I'm hearing is you were in incredible overwhelm. And next thing you know, you're grabbing a beer, some version of that. Okay. Is it okay if we just kind of stay in this place for just a little bit? This feels really important what you're sharing, Kelly.
Yeah.
So at that moment where it feels like there's just this cascade of the loss of your sobriety, the loss of your mom, the shame that you said that comes along for the ride with having relapsed. And I'll take a word you said that just really resonated with me, feeling so alone when you couldn't find Jeff. Can
Yeah.
you help me understand what that's like to walk in your shoes in a moment like that? When all that's happening for you? Because I hear that's what was going on. It's a really hard place to be.
Yeah. Like when I feel alone.
When you feel alone, when you get a taste of, oh my gosh, there's the shame when I can't find Jeff, and now I'm in this overwhelming experience. I've just lost my mom.
Yeah.
What is all that like in that moment? What is that like to walk in your shoes?
Um, I mean, it's like I'm a little bit frantic. I'm, I get louder when
Mm,
when I feel this way. And I mean, it's our dance. Like we already know it. I get louder. He goes away. Um, but I just don't know how to like stop that. Like I can't, it's like if I, if I'm not loud, nothing will happen. Like he's really gone. And so, but yeah, there's like this panic inside of me. It is overwhelming. I am sort of desperate. Like I really do. I want to sort of get back, but it just seems like the harder I try, we've tried everything, right? Like we've just been fighting really, but it's like I'm actually sort of panicking, I think.
That's what I heard you say. What I heard you say that really kind of struck a deep chord in me. You use like three different ways of saying, I'm frantic,
Yeah.
I'm in a panic,
Yeah.
right? This is a desperate, desperate moment for me. It just sounds so overwhelming. And then I'm hearing in those moments, you and Jeff know what it tastes like, what it feels like to be connected in tough times. And I'm hearing you say, I can't find you.
Yeah.
And that just sounds so incredibly overwhelming. Like the gravity of that moment just sounds so big. So when
Mhm.
all that's happening, I hear you can kind of get loud.
Mhm.
I'm going to make an assumption, and please correct me if I'm wrong. But when all that was happening on the inside, that's part of what was going on when you reached for that beer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That fits. Hmm.
definitely.
And can I say something
Of course,
here,
of
Michael?
course.
I like it's kind of when she mentioned that she said I went away or she couldn't find me, right after, or maybe when her mom was not doing well. Like I didn't. That wasn't something I was necessarily aware of. Like it just for me, it felt like everything kind of exploded when she decided to have a drink like that. Obviously, that's just, I mean, very scary for me to watch.
I see
And
that.
so uh, it's a little bit like I don't want to be the reason that, I mean, I know there's a lot going on,
Yeah,
but kind of, feels like she was saying that I was leaving before that happened. And you know, like
yeah.
that's,
You're saying a lot of really important things as well. I'm one of the things I'm really just struck by is just there's no defensiveness here. And what I'm hearing you says, I didn't even know I was really doing that. But truth be told, it was really scary for me too. This got really, really scary for me too.
mhm,
17
mhm,
years is a big commitment to
mhm.
recovery, right? And what is this going to mean for us? And then what I'm hearing in many ways too is as kind of addiction swooped in and grabbed your relationship here. You were alone too. I know you haven't said that word, but I'm getting the picture here that if Kelly was getting upset or getting loud, all of a sudden there's been a relapse, there's been a death in the family, and you see this
Yeah,
massive sea change. It's hard for you too, right?
yeah, yeah, it is. And I don't want, I mean, I know it's hard for her.
I hear
Like
that.
there's, the list, like there's so many things that we can just go back and I have, I don't know what that's like. You
Yeah.
know, I haven't experienced the kind of loss that she's experienced. And so there's, I don't want this to be about me necessarily, but I also didn't want to, be why things went south.
I
You
don't hear
know,
you making it about you. You all are telling me about
okay.
your marriage,
Yeah.
right? And there are two suffering people in that marriage that
Okay.
have known what it feels like to be very connected. And at a really, really crucial moment in your lives, you were a bit disconnected. And what I'm hearing is that dance was up and running. And what you're learning about yourself is you can kind of pull it in those moments of distress, and you can kind of go out in those moments of distress. But there's a really great deal of sensitivity you're bringing to Kelly's experience. I'm hearing you really say something that's very caring. Like, I don't know what it's like personally. I know how hard this is. I want to be sensitive and not make it about me. But of course, you're the other half of this relationship here. And you have your own suffering. And what I'm hearing you say is your own fear. And perhaps it's when the fears get big and the friction feels really present. Is that when you might kind of pull away or be more quiet? Is that kind of a connection?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that makes so much sense, by the way. So many of us do that. So let me just make some sense of what you're saying. You're painting a picture of the dance. And you all know a thing or three about the dance. And sadly, it was up and running when your mom died, Kelly, right? And I think what historically may have happened is you could have then turned to Jeff and just grieved and freaked out or whatever would have been, trying to make sense of another person in your life feels gone. But what I was hearing you say in this crucial moment, the cycle had you all so intensely that kind of he was gone too. You didn't have your safe haven. I know how important this man is to you. So again, if it's okay, could I go back to something you were saying earlier? There was a bigness about the way you described that frantic place. And there was so much distress in hearing you say, I couldn't find him then. And I was wondering if you can tell me when you start encountering something as big as that, here's another loss. I can't find my person. I'm alone in this. The feelings are bigger than words can tell. Tell me more about what that's like to walk in your shoes when all that is percolating and,
Yeah.
rearing its head.
Yeah. Um, oh, it's so bad. I, and Jeff, I promise I'm not blaming you. I take responsibility for drinking. I'm not blaming you, promise. But it's so hard. I just really, um, I don't know when I don't know where you are, and I don't know, like sometimes I start to get like, um, I assume things like that I'm doing something wrong or I'm messing up somehow, and it's just like, it's like this spiral in my own head, and it just gets kind of dark and sort of weird. Um,
Mm.
and so
It's a lot.
it's such a dark place. It feels hopeless. It just,
Wow. Wow. So I
I
think,
hate it. I hate it. I know this place. I've been here before, and I haven't been here in so long.
well, let's
And,
stay here. Because what you're saying is it's so dark and it's so all consuming. And in that moment, the cycle had you all so intensely that you couldn't even find the person you would normally lean into for some form of reassurance. And what I was hearing you say is so much is spiraling in my head. And I just go down this awful slippery slope into a super, super dark place and even start doubting myself. What am I doing wrong? Did I mess up somehow? And just face to face with that. And so I guess when the pain of that got big enough,
yeah,
that's where, and you couldn't find Jeff, that's where you reached for that beer. Yeah. Can I ask you what's happening on the inside as you hear your words?
it's right here.
It's right there.
Hmm.
Well, I know Jeff knows about the part of you that can get loud, and I know he obviously was there when you relapsed. But I was wondering if you can talk to him about this place that you're feeling in your throat that's so overwhelming that in that moment when you couldn't find him, you turned away.
I don't know. It's for some reason I'm sad.
Of course you were. Can you tell him about your sadness? Can you bring him or try to?
Just so lonely. And I kind of don't know what to do.
Well, you're doing it now. You're taking a risk to be with Jeff and let him come into this dark place with you. And it's actually more than just your head spinning. There's a deep, deep sadness and a deep loss. And rather than drinking and rather than getting loud, you're allowing him into this really, really vulnerable space that you often carry very alone. And I know you can feel Kelly taking a risk with you right now. Yeah. And I was wondering what it says to you that she's allowing you into this place. There's obviously no drinking, and she's not yelling at you, but just kind of seeking your support and trusting the solidity, the care that you bring. What's that say to you that she's bringing herself to you in this way?
I remember I was in the hospital with her mom. I don't know that she was like conscious or could really hear me, but it was close to the end, and I was telling her how I would take care of Kelly, like that's what I want to do. That's who I want to be for her.
Wow,
So,
that's a lot.
yeah,
So that's an incredibly beautiful story. And I was wondering, like in this moment, if some of what you're also saying is you want to help care for these feelings and care for her right now as she shares with you in this new way.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I see your tears, like that's real. And it's
And tell her about the way you'd like to be in this with her, how much you're caring about
okay.
this. That feels really important what you're saying right now, Jeff.
Okay. I mean, I do. I want to take care of you in this. Like I know it's so hard, um and then I haven't been there sometimes and kind of felt like it was hard to be there when you were drinking. But I
Of course.
do want to be, I want to be there for you. And I can see your pain and know how alone that you felt like that when you said that. It was like, I understood.
Well, it seems like you're with her right now, and that's what
Yeah.
really feels important. And so you took a big risk, and there wasn't any getting loud,
Yeah.
and you shared how sad you are and how lonely you've been. And it looks like by sharing in this way, and I'll, be master of the obvious here without drinking or getting loud, it pulled Jeff to you. And I was wondering what's happening on the inside as you take in his words.
My heart is like,
Yeah,
I know you love me. Like, I know this. I just couldn't feel it.
yeah. But you can now.
Hmm.
Yeah. Can I ask you what that's like? What's happening on the inside as you can feel him in it with you right now?
Me,
You?
yeah, it's just, I feel sort of like full, if that makes sense. Like a full, like, okay, kind
Yeah, that makes
of
sense.
like, we're back.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, together, I mean, in a moment like this, you really are full. And when addiction kind of visited you all in the way it had, although it takes away the pain in the moment, or maybe buffers the fear that Jeff might not have been there, leaves you very alone and isolated. So allowing yourself to feel the sadness and the aloneness and bring it to you, Jeff, and Jeff, you be able to really be there and lean right back and meet Kelly on the dance floor is really important. So I just want to encourage you to really anchor yourself in that full feeling you feel. I saw you kind of put your hand on your heart here, because that's an important thing to touch back into. It's like a resource that you all are creating or recreating as you find your way back to one another, right?